I'm gonna miss working on you. You've been a great pal. I'll make sure Mom doesn't sell you or anything.
Sell me?
Bye.
Oh my.
Hey everybody, I'm Caleb from Beard vs. Geek, where I show you it is okay to be a man and a geek at the same time. Today we are traveling into a galaxy far, far away a long, long time ago, and we are talking about Star Wars. And in Star Wars, both the Empire, the Republic, the Jedi, the Sith, everybody treats a certain class of sentient beings like slaves, like property, even though they can think for themselves. First, let's talk about what is sentience.
By definition, what constitutes a sentient life form?
Self-awareness, consciousness.
I'm me. No doubt about that. What else?
The ability to think independently.
I'm independent. I just, like company.
Fear of death.
I got that too.
You're not gonna convince me it's alive. Look!
Hey!
Well, in Star Wars, sentient life forms are everywhere. There are the humans, there are the Wookiees, there are the Jawas, there are the... well, you get the drift. Every single civilization, every single main character, minimal character in Star Wars is classified as a sentient being. And in Star Wars, there is a classification of sentient beings who are treated as slaves. And that would be droids. Droids in Star Wars are, well, slaves. They're going to be subjected to human and Wookiee and Jawa and everyone else's will, even though they are sentient life forms who can feel, who can think and reason, who can act as individuals, and who have fear of death. Starting on with Star Wars Episode 1, some droids were sentient, others were not. For example, the droid army of the Trade Federation I would not classify as sentient beings since they did not have the capacity of individual thought. However, during the course of the Clone Wars, when the Trade Federation as well as the Separatists took their droids and did not have them connected to one mainframe, but gave them individual consciousness, they became sentient beings. Therefore, during the Great Republic War, the Great Clone Wars, if you will, or the Great Droid Wars, depending on what side you're on, it was sentient beings versus sentient beings. It was the Republic granting sentience to clones in order to fight their army, and it was the Separatists granting sentience to droids in order to go and fight their army. And like both sides, those sentient beings got brainwashed in order to fight for their right side. But slavery goes beyond that. In human history, we do have records of slaves being forced to fight for their masters, all the way up into relatively modern times. In the 19th century, the British Empire, for example, had black regiments stationed in the Caribbean and throughout the world. And these were people who were essentially slaves, who were bought as slaves and were consigned into the British Royal Army to go out and to fight British battles for them and to keep the peace. Kind of like a militia of, well, slaves. We do see throughout the entire Star Wars saga that droids can think for themselves. R2D2 and C3PO, who think for themselves and who are a great example, a great pair, they disagree with each other constantly. Take, for example, the beginning of A New Hope, the first occurrence that we see with R2D2 and C3PO. R2 wants to go one way, C3PO wants to go other. They have a disagreement, like any two sentient beings who disagree with each other do, and they split. And with A New Hope, R2D2 and C3PO get captured by slave traders, or Jawas, Jawas being a species, I guess not exactly a profession, and taken and sold to other sentient beings. Sentient beings who, might I add, was the main character and who was supposed to be our hero, being totally cool with purchasing sentient beings to work on their farm. When the droids introduced themselves to Luke Skywalker, he acted like he didn't really care.
And I am C3PO, Human-Cyborg Relations, and this is my counterpart, R2D2.
Hello.
And same with everyone else. Han Solo treats them like dirt. Princess Leia treats them like dirt. Empires treat them like dirt. Jabba the Hutt actively tortures them and makes sentient robots to torture other sentient robots. That scream, that's a scream of pain. C-3PO himself fears death multiple times, and R2D2 may not actively voice his expression about fearing death. He's a little, well, rambunctious, and there's a video you can click right here for how we even understand R2D2. These life forms fear death, and they feel pain. C-3PO even feels anguish at the thought that due to his negligence, his master, Luke Skywalker, and the others got killed in a freaking garbage compactor.
Listen to them. They're dying, R2. Curse my metal body. I wasn't fast enough. It's all my fault. My poor master.
That type of grief is not felt by a toaster. That is felt by a sentient life form. These droids, specifically C-3PO because we see him the most, actively call their human counterparts their masters, a supplemental term given from one person who considers himself less and under the control of someone else. At the end of Star Wars Episode 3, for example, we hear them give the order to wipe C-3PO's memory, basically erasing a good chunk of his identity. To the human counterparts, to the other sentient beings on the ship, this is no freaking big deal. But let's put this into our terms. You, Bob, go lobotomize Jim over here, okay? Make sure that he can't remember a damn thing. That would be a major human rights violation. We do not do that to sentient beings. But yet, the rebellion, no problem. Do it. Go ahead. Go. Previously on this channel, I pointed out good aspects of the Empire and gotten some flack for it. I pointed out bad aspects of the Rebellion. I get some flack for it. Here's something that both the Empire and the Rebellion did wrong. They took sentient beings and they subjected them to slavery-like conditions. They did not pay them for their services. They treated them like dirt. They actively tortures them. And in the end, when Princess Leia escapes from Jabba's palace and blows up that palace, you know what? She's not just blowing up a bunch of humans and a bunch of sentient pig guys, but she's also blowing up sentient droids. During the Clone Wars, it was sentient beings versus sentient beings, not sentient beings who we root for versus toasters. This isn't freaking Battlestar Galactica, people. During the course of all of these movies, it is very plain to see that all sides treat droids as slaves and do nothing to liberate them or to find them rights. Nothing. Not a thing. Instead, they go to extreme lengths to ensure their servitude.
I'll pay for him. 60 portions.
Let me know what you think about this idea in the comments section down below. And if you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Great videos are coming out every week where I show you it is okay to be a man and a geek at the same time. You can click right here for how we understand R2D2, and you can click right here for some more manliness and geekiness. Because after all, if the women don't find you manly, they should at least find you geeky. And until next time, beard on, bro.